date, the 9th of September, and you've underlined, and the heading revision, and then you've got Number the Stars and Whitney's Kiss, right? Leave a line, you stick in this, right? The breakdown. And if you have a look at the breakdown, it tells you more or less what to focus on for each one. But this lesson that we're doing today is going to supplement that breakdown. It's going to guide you, help you look at certain things in each book. Okay? Because it is a lot. Right? So, if we look at the breakdown, Number the Stars tells you important events and I think important characters, right? And then Whitney's Kiss, character sketches, themes, setting, and chapter 1, which is a small portion of the novel. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at Number the Stars. We're going to be creating a tree map. So, you can either A, turn over to the next page and turn your page landscape, or B, you can continue portrait. Okay? So, in the middle, you're going to rewrite the title, Number the Stars. And please, Marilla, my line is not very straight. Okay. Right, and we've got 3 branches. Okay? 3 branches, so it's nice and even. It's odd, but it's even. Okay. The first thing we're going to look at is our important characters. There are quite a few characters in this novel, and obviously here we're just going to list them, but you need to look at who they are, which is very important, okay, and how they relate to the story. So our first section here is going to be headed characters. And let's go. Who are our characters in the story? Can you remember? Please go and shout at me. Anne-Marie. Hannah. Ellen. Anybody else? Hannah. Okay, the Johansons. Jenna. Okay, we've got Kirsty, who's also linked to the Johansons, and Peter, as well as the Roses. Okay, and because they are our main antagonists, I have made an entire section for our Nazi soldiers. Now, before we go on to that branch, we're going to look at our characters. Okay, remind me, who is Anne-Marie? Hands up. Tell me anything you can remember about her. Sahana. She's 10. She is our main protagonist in the story. What else do we know about her? Kisa.
Blue-eyed, blonde hair.
Blue-eyed, blonde hair. Hannah. Denmark, Copenhagen.
She's lanky, she's tall.
She's lanky, she's tall, she's sporty, she's athletic. That's lanky, right? Anne-Marie is brave. Anne-Marie, the entire story, in fact, centers around Anne-Marie. As much as it's about Ellen, it's more so about Anne-Marie and her quest to help her friend. Okay, let's look at Ellen. Who's Ellen? Layla. Dark hair, brown eyes. Anne-Marie is tall, but she is short, okay? She's stocky. She's reserved, she's quiet, she's even a little bit anxious, okay? We have the Johansons and the Rosens, the mother and the father of the two children. Johansons, Anne-Marie, Rosens, Ellen. Very important to remember. Johansons, Christian. Rosens, Jewish. Okay? Right, we've got Kirsty. Kirsty is Anne-Marie's little sister or her younger sister. And Peter. Who on earth is Peter? Hannah. Right. So, Anne-Marie and Kirsty had an older sister who unfortunately passed away 2 weeks before her wedding. She was engaged to Peter. Right? What happened to Lisa? What happened? How did she die? Can you remember? Very important. Angel.
They thought that she was in a car accident, that she was actually killed by a Nazi because she was part of the resistance.
Correct. So, originally we believed she was in a car accident, and yes, it was technically true, you know. It wasn't the whole story, but it was a part of the story. Lisa and Peter were part of the resistance, so was Uncle Hendrik. Remember, the resistance were the people helping the Jews, right? And they were at a secret meeting one night where the Nazi soldiers raided the cellar that they were in, and everyone fled. Peter was shot in the arm, and Lisa was run down by a military vehicle. Okay? We cannot assume it was a tank. We cannot assume it was a truck because they say military vehicle. Okay? Right, so those are our characters. Now let's move on to our antagonists, the villains in our story who just won't leave these people alone. Okay, time and time again we see them come back. They interrogate Anne-Marie and Ellen on their way home from school. They actually physically come into the apartment and search it. They encounter them on the train. Remember, they thought Kirsty was going to say, "This is my friend Ellen, and it's her new year." Right? But she just told them about her shoes. Okay? So they encountered them on the train. They came in during the funeral. Okay, all of this should be ringing a bell at some point. They came in during the funeral. When Anne-Marie was delivering the handkerchief there, they stopped her again. Like I said, they just wouldn't leave her alone. Okay? So our Nazi soldiers, who can remember what country they originated from, Sapir? Germany. That's our first thing we need to remember. Anne-Marie says that they had been in Denmark for 3 years and still could not learn their language. They continually spoke German. Okay? What else can you tell me about my Nazi soldiers? What else happened? What else took place? What else do we need to know?
They were taking away the Jews from the towns.
Okay, they were persecuting. Jews. They were discriminating against Jews. They were prejudiced against Jews. Okay? Persecuting the Jews. They were arresting them, taking them away.
They didn't respect women or children.
There was a lack of respect. In fact, there was an inherent lack of respect for pretty much everybody they came into contact with. They thought they were superior, they were better. Okay? It's a pretty good picture of who they were and what they were doing. Can you remember what World War this took place during? Tell me.
World War II.
2. Not 3 and not 1. Okay, 3 hasn't happened and 1 was long before that. Okay. Characters, Nazi soldiers, and the last important thing we're going to look at is the scene at Hendrik's house. Okay? From the funeral, filtering through to where Anne-Marie runs to the boat to deliver the handkerchief. Okay? So the third and final one we will title Hendrik's house. Right. So we're looking at Hendrik's house and what went down. Right, at Hendrik's house. So first things first, we need to know it was a meeting of the resistance. Right? The Johansons were helping them. Peter was there, Hendrik was there, and these other people came together because there was a funeral. Okay? So we will put down resistance. We will put down in inverted commas funeral, because we all know Great Aunt Bertie does not exist. It was a cover story. Okay, this is the point of the story where Ellen is reunited with her parents. Right? And off they go into the night. Who is leading? The one group is Peter, and the second group?
Uncle Hendrik.
No, not Uncle Hendrik. Hannah? Miss? No misters. No misters, Hannah.
Mrs. Johansson.
It was Mrs. Johansson. She was leading the second party. But remember, Anne-Marie tried to stay awake for her? When she woke up, her mother was not home. And what did she discover? Do you remember, Sipiwo?
Her mother twisted her ankle on the way back.
Okay. So, Mrs. Johansson, who was leading the second group, we're not going to put all of that in. Mrs. Johansson hurt her ankle, which led to Anne-Marie delivering the special package. Remember that? Okay, so special package, which was what? I've said it already. A handkerchief. Okay? And we need to look at why this handkerchief was special. But obviously we're not going to write that down because this is our prompt. We see the word handkerchief and we know it relates to. Tell me, why was it special? Unati.
Because it had something in it that affected the girl's sense of to track Jews.
Right, correct. So the soldiers had started using dogs to sniff out the Jews all over the place. And they needed a way to kind of prevent this because people would get in trouble and people would die. So Peter went off to some scientists and he got them to create a drug. They laced the handkerchief with the drug and they just kept it nearby. Dogs would be attracted to it, they'd sniff it, and it would ruin their sense of smell, meaning that they wouldn't be able to detect the Jews. Right? So, these here are all prompts. You can't just learn the word handkerchief and not know why it's important. You with me? You've got to look at who was Anne-Marie, who was Ellen, who were the Johansons, who was Kirsty, Peter, Lisa, all of our characters, right? Who were our Nazi soldiers, what were they doing, and where did they come from? And what went down when they arrived at Uncle Hendrik's house, all the way down to the end of the novel, basically. We need to remember that right at the end of the novel, the war ends in 1945, and Anne-Marie tells us that actually Peter had been executed because he was part of the resistance. So you look at resistance, you've got to think of all of those things. Okay, study skills. Right. So this brings us to the end of this particular tree now. Okay? Okay, so we've either turned over, or if you had space, you could continue below. Right, we're creating our second tree map, which is for Whitney's Kiss. Okay, once again, we're putting the novel's name and using a ruler. And it's got 3 branches. Okay, and our first branch is our characters. Who's in the novel? A little bit obvious, yes. Whitney, who else? Lucky. And Whitney. Lucky. Mrs. Pillay. The Sotelo. Lindy Wick? Yes. And that's about it, okay? Yes, we have Rosie and Sibongile and Miss Bukula, but they're not major characters. So, we've got Whitney. Tell me about Whitney. What is she like as a person? Okay? Angel. She's 13, she's in grade 7, okay? She's of African descent. Tell me about her personality, okay? She's naive, she's gullible, she's too trusting. Okay? Plain down, straightforward. She's curious. Lucky. Let's get into what his character is like, Layla. 16 in grade 9. Okay, we can go on to say he's a soccer player. We cannot assume his nationality, his descent, where he's from, what race he might be, anything like that, because Lucky doesn't really give us much to go off of, right? So tell me about his personality, Sahana. Manipulative. He is a romantic, okay, to put it in formal language. He is manipulative, a romantic, he's secretive, he's a liar, he has many things, okay? He's arrogant, he thinks a lot of himself, okay? Mrs. Play, Jenna. She's Whitney's English teacher. In fact, she's Whitney's favorite teacher. What is she like as a person? Kanya, you want to give it a go?
She's kind.
She is kind, she's caring, okay? She gives good advice, she's encouraging, inspiring, and an all-around pretty good person, okay? We're not going to go on to describe these two. They're not major characters. Mr. and Mrs. Sotelo, the most important thing to remember is that Mr. Sotelo is sick. Okay, he's ill. We know that he suffered from HIV. It progressed to AIDS. Right? But that doesn't take place in chapter 1. It's just a little bit of background. Okay? We know that he's sick. And we know that Mrs. Sotelo is caring for him. And that Lindy wears with his friend. So, on to branch 2. Country. South Africa. Western Cape. Yep, Timberlake Township. Okay. Pretty much straightforward. Okay? You just need to know where the novel is happening. Right? Character setting, and the last one here, themes. I need 3 from you, but I need you to remember that yes, we are looking at the themes and we're going to list them here. But no, you cannot just list a theme, you need to remember why. So you're going to give me a theme. I'm going to write it down, but you're also going to tell me why. Okay? So Hannah.
Happy is relationship, and happy after comes relationship.
Correct.
This is illustrated in Whitney's relationship with Lucky, and also with her relationship with her parents, Mrs. Clay, and Whitney.
Okay, so Hannah's brought a very good point. Relationships is a theme. We need to remember that this can be divided into two separate sections. Romantic relationships, platonic relationships. The romantic relationship is illustrated in the relationship between Whitney and Lucky, whereas platonic relationships illustrate teacher-student, Mrs. Pillay and Whitney, family, Whitney and her parents, or friendship, Whitney and Lindy. Right, Sapir.
Growing up.
Okay,
This,
growing up, thank you. Tell us why.
this is illustrated when Lindy matures very quickly, when she decides to fall in love with Lucky, and her childhood is replaced with the fire of youth.
Right, that's correct. So if we look at growing up, Whitney may only be 13, and compared to you, you might think, wow, she is behaving as if she is so mature and she's much older, and this is not something someone my age should be doing. She is forced to grow up. She suddenly has left her childhood behind, and she is maturing. She is growing up. She is also pushed to grow up when she finds out the news about her father's illness. Very important to remember. Amelie.
HIV and AIDS.
Right, final theme for today. HIV and AIDS. Tell me why.
HIV and AIDS are illustrated through Mrs. Taylor's struggle with the disease, and it's also illustrated through Lucky as he keeps a secret and doesn't tell anyone.
Correct. So, HIV and AIDS, once again, is illustrated twice through two different characters. The first character is Mr. Sotelo, who experiences the illness, and subsequently he passes away. Right? We watch his battle, how it has affected Whitney, how it has affected the family. Okay? We also see HIV and AIDS through Lucky. We find out quite far down in the novel that he is HIV positive. Okay? And we look at how he could possibly have lived his life a little differently in order to avoid spreading it to the next person and in order to live quite longer. Remember, in the very last chapter, he's called into the headmaster's office and he is told that if he makes the right decisions for his health, he will be fine. He could live many years. Right? So, when you look at your themes, you can learn them, but you need to remember why. Okay? This brings us to the end of this map. You can leave a line and move off. If you've got space, if you don't have space, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to talk you through the test now really quickly. Explain how it sets up. You turn your page a little. Right? So the test is out of 30 marks. Now, simple, straightforward. It is 20 marks, number the stars, 10 marks, Whitney's Kiss, which is why we're basically looking at surface level. We're not looking at anything excessive, we're not looking in depth, okay? It is made up of multiple choice, true and false, and written answer questions. So please have a look at what we've gone through. Take some time. Go back to your chapter notes on Number the Stars and have a look at it, because that was a really long time ago. Okay. Any questions about the test? Perfect.